one thing about the artwork, it was long distance Voyager, and I think, I don't know, Joshua John or somebody saw this photograph around somewhere, and we thought that would make a great sleeve, and it did become the sleeve. And then when you looked at it, you were able to take a little section of it, and it spoke for every song on the album. It was really strange how that worked out, wasn't it?
I couldn't believe that a spaceship flying across the painting.
I think we might have painted that in.
Oh yeah, of course. As the painting was from 1860.
There was a photograph on the wall of a photographer's studio, and because we were just waiting to have the session, and I was just looking at it, well, that's absolutely brilliant. And then we asked the guy, the photographer, about it, and he said sure. And then, but it was copyrighted. It was owned by somewhere up in Glasgow, so we had to get some permission to do it. But I thought it was one of the nicest sleeves we ever had. It didn't quite have that blue wash that it has on our version. It was more a sepia kind of colour, but which the blue wash was better. I think it was, you know, Phil Travers sadly had, well, his life had changed by then anyway, so he wasn't doing those kind of sleeves anymore. He was doing other things.
And don't you own that painting? Didn't you find it?
Yeah, it's a strange story. Where this piece of art, where this picture was in photography studio, and it closed down when they demolished the building. And a few years later, I was going by, and there's a little antique shop, and in the antique shop was this painting, this picture. I couldn't believe it, and I had to go and say, "Oh, is that any good, that picture?" And I bought it, and I've got it now, all framed. It's wonderful.
So we're going to see you on Antique Roadshow someday.
We've done it. We have been on Antique Roadshow. They did it for what was his name? Graham, the promoter in San Francisco.
Oh, Bill Graham.
Bill Graham, thank you. Yeah. And there's a Bill Graham museum that's part of the thing, and they were having the Antiques Roadshow in the main auditorium, and they went into the museum like they do to sort of show you a bit of local colour and talk about things, and they were discussing a variety of objects that they'd got in the museum that were various amounts of valuableness. But right behind them, there's an old poster of the Moody Blues advertised to be playing at the gig right there, or what was a gig then was now the auditorium. And so, yes, we have made it onto Antiques Roadshow.
How about that?
All right, we don't have a lot of time left, but those first 7 albums, the first chapter of the band's career, maybe to some the second chapter, the pre-Justin John days. What were the marching orders? For example, so 7 albums in 5 years. I mean, now you don't get 1 album in 5 years, let alone 7. 7 albums in 5 years. 2 in 1 year, 1969. Who dictated that it was, you need to get right back in, start writing, or were you just at a creative high where it just was flowing out of you, and it's like, might as well go in and record them?
Yep. When we weren't on the road, we were in the studio.
Yeah.
No, we didn't tell us to do anything. We just wanted to do it.
We didn't have a lot of stuff to look after, or to put places. We didn't have houses or things, you know, to worry about. So you just did that. You just did gigs or went in the studio. And also, there was a lot of people telling you, this business is a tough business. Give it 2 years and you'll be back, you know, doing a proper job. Well, I'd never done a proper job, so that was a disaster for me. But,
we used to scare each other with stories about the corner tobacconist shop.
It was a business where people said, you know, give it a year.
I think also you
had to hurry.
It got to the fact where when you made an album recently, you had to plug it in for 3 months in front. You know, it wasn't instant anymore. In the old days when it was real music people, everything wanted it out the next week. I mean, I remember we went to the studio, Mike had built a studio and we recorded Isn't Life Strange, and on the Friday night we were in the studio doing the vocals for the Isn't Life Strange. On the Saturday we left for an American tour, and we took the tape with us of Isn't Life Strange, and the following week it was released as a single. And there's no way you could ever do that today.
No. Well, back then, the recording companies that have an A&R department, that have a manufacturing department, that have recording studios, that have promotion men, that have an art department. Everything was in one roof, and they were all, to some degree or another, experts. So you were sort of immersed in the business, the music business all the time, not the business, the music business. And so it was very exciting times.
And
it was throwing away line, throwing away.
And out of those first 7 albums, for each of you, is there one that really just jumps to the top of the list that's either the most important or your favorite, and one that perhaps is your least favorite? And if you can each take that question and tell me why.
Well, I'll start so the other guys have got time to think, and I can give a damn good reason for why. Seventh Sergeant was not a favourite of mine. It was not a favourite of mine because I was personally going through a divorce at a very difficult time, and so it coloured it for me. Now, I never listen to Moody music except when I have to records. Never listened to it, and so I hadn't heard Seventh Sergeant for several years, but Justin did a remix, might have been for Quiet or for something, and he sent it over to me, so I had to play it to listen to it, to make sure that I could honestly give just my approval. And I played it, and I thought, wow, this is actually a fantastic album. So it was a wonderful album. So my favourite album and my least favourite album is Seventh Sergeant. Tap dance your way out of that
All right, Justin and John, who wants to take it next?
For me, I just love all of them.
He tap danced his way out of it.
For me, I think Threshold of a Dream, because it was a time when we were going to live in, we were visiting people's flats, other people's apartments, and just being with friends and people, like-minded people. And you could see it in everybody's record collection, and that made me so proud, because you would go to people's flats, apartments. I didn't watch TV or anything in the 60s, but it was just about music, and so you'd bring your records and you'd bring your albums to their apartments and you'd play them and you'd listen to music together. That would be your evening, and talking and about life and things. And Threshold, was, like I said, it was the #1 album, and it was in just about everybody's record collection. And I don't honestly have a least favourite. There were, Seventh Sergeant was a difficult time for me as well, so it doesn't have sort of fond memories of the time. But still, if you have to pick one, the one that, when I was remastering, the one that still knocks me sideways is Days of Future Past. It's just, if you had to be known for one thing, I would hope it would be that, and it probably will be, actually.
I think also, emotionally, on Days of Future Past, when we finished recording, we had the playback, and the studio where we recorded had a stage just like this, and we had some speakers set up, and we sat where you're all sitting now, and we put all the lights out, and we had all our friends, a few people from the record industry or record people with us, and we put all the lights out, and we played the album, and when the album finished, I think we all just sat there, dumbfounded, quiet, because we hadn't realised what had actually happened. And just thinking about it now, I can still remember just sitting there and the emotion, having that shiver down your back, going, what have we done? And that will stay with me forever. So from an emotional point of view, I think the playback of Days of Future Past for me is probably my favourite.
All right, and well, we're about out of time here, so I just want to end it with going on tour, primarily Southeast U.S. right now. We've got a fall leg. We've mentioned Las Vegas. Am I boring you guys this much?
I just had to get up because they're not.
And,
they might look nice, but they're not.
Is there anything else?
No, they're quite difficult, and Graham and I were struggling, I think.
Can we look forward to anything else? Has anything materialized in the vaults over these last 2 years since
Sure,
the last
lots of
cruise?
stuff. Oh, I've got albums and albums.
You know you can't go anywhere because you've got to take a picture with them. So
I know, no, I'm looking forward to that bit. All in good time. All in good time.
So obviously, check your website for any new developments, but of course the big one is that we'll see them in Las Vegas and, in October, and some tour dates, which is great, and who knows, maybe another cruise somewhere down the road.
And we'll see you in your hometown sometime in the next decade.
Well, thank you very, very much. Justin Hayward, John Lodge, and Graham Edge of the Moody Blues. Thanks for doing this. And for you folks, if you can just stay seated. The crew members are going to make their way around now to give you instructions. These guys are going to hang out here on stage, and we'll get this going.